so many people, are kind of off to the suburbs. They're in Renton, Kent, Tacoma, all of that. And so it really is more of an effort for people to come back to the community, but we're trying to just continue to create ways for them to just feel like there's a reason to come back.
Live from the lounge, we're talking in real time. New vibes, bold minds, and stories that shine. From chats to laughs, where ideas thrive. So kick back, tune in, we're going live. So kick back, tune in, we're going live.
This episode is brought to you by Bilt, the loyalty program that turns every on-time rent payment into the industry's most valuable and flexible points currency. Members can transfer points one-to-one to their favorite airlines and hotels. Use them for future rent payments, redeem for rideshare, and more. Head to Bilt.com to learn more. Welcome back, everyone, to Live from the Lounge. We're here at Midtown Square with a really special guest, Jazmyn Scott from Arte Noir.
We're excited that you're here. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
We were talking with Jazmyn a little bit about Midtown Square and why we're here today. So Live from the Lounge, as we've talked about in previous episodes, is really about community and finding a place where people can call home, whether that's the residents or the neighborhood itself. And so Jazmyn's position at Arte Noir as an executive director, Arte Noir has kind of like its own story.
Yeah.
And I know you work very closely with Vivian, the founder. Can you tell us a little bit about Arte Noir and your role at the organization?
Yeah, thank you guys for inviting me to be here. This is really sweet. Yeah, so first of all, I always like to say, full disclosure, Vivian Phillips, our founder, is my mother. So
Okay, oh my gosh, no
surprise,
way.
surprise. If you saw us, if she was standing here, you'd totally get it.
Yeah.
We're like twins. But so I've been very close to this project since before the beginning. Arte Noir was a vision of my mother's that has kind of just lived inside her for decades. And the initial vision was to be an online publication that really spotlights and highlights Black art and culture across the diaspora. When she first kind of had this vision, this was early internet, like before blogs were even a big thing.
Before your time.
Yeah. We're old over here. But it was definitely something where, she always subscribed to all the kind of Black arts magazines and things like that. And she was like, what if there was a magazine that was online? So this was pre all of that.
Yeah.
And this is a concept that just sat with her. Then kind of fast forward to when Lake Union Partners purchased this property and had some initial ideas around what they wanted to do with this block. Mm-hmm. What I appreciate about Lake Union Partners is, number one, they're a local developer. So they know where they're at. They understand the history of the communities that they're coming in, and they also understand the implications of their presence, in new development. Obviously, in the Central District, there has been a history of displacement and gentrification. So they were very intentional about engaging the community in what was going to happen, particularly on this property. So my mom has been known in this community for decades for her involvement in the art scene, in community, even in politics a little bit. She worked for a previous mayor. She worked as director of communications for that mayor. She also did marketing for Seattle Theater Group and helped with their redevelopment back in the day. And I mean, the list goes on and on. So she's been known, people typically recommend her for large projects like this. And so she was recommended and invited to help lead the art plan for Midtown Square. Kind of as a result of that, obviously develop a relationship with Lake Union Partners, and was around a lot as the art was getting placed here after the artists were selected. And so the concept of Arte Noir started coming back. She launched Arte Noir's online publication in 2021. And we had an opportunity to get some space here and see how we could expand on the idea of Arte Noir. Initially, we were offered a different space, actually where all the best pets is, is the initial space that we were offered. And we were excited because, it was cool because the anchor spot where we're at was initially intended for something different.
Yeah.
It was intended for like a big box pharmacy retail. And obviously that was to offset the cost for the local small business, BIPOC, women-owned businesses so that they could be here. So we understood why that was going to happen. But then I believe, down the line, Lake Union Partners was kind of like, we see this beautiful art, like this building is looking really gorgeous. It would be weird to have
like a
CVS on the corner.
Yeah.
So then they offered us that space. The initial space was way too large. So we said, yes, we will take that corner lot, but, we're going to have to cut some of that off a little bit. Ultimately, we were able to acquire that space. And part of the conversation about acquiring that space was that we needed to be able to purchase it at some point. Mm-hmm. And so the ability to kind of stretch Lake Union Partners to do something that they have not done before, which was essentially condominiumize this property so that ownership was an option for every retailer, every commercial business in this space. The fact that they figured it out and were willing to do that is really like kind of groundbreaking. And it allowed us to move forward with our vision because as Seattle natives, we have literally felt and seen the displacement. So that was a non-negotiable for us. They were willing to do that. And so we were able to do a short-term lease. And then at the end of that lease, we were able to purchase our space. And so we've been owners of our space going on 2 years now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is.
And I know you were born here, you were raised in the CD. Mm-hmm. So it's very different than you growing up. What would you say are some of the biggest changes aside from obviously all of these newer buildings and, newer businesses? Is there something that really kind of stands out to you the most?
Well, there's a few things. I mean, obviously the face, of the community, what the community looked like overall really doesn't look the same. I think one of the things that stands out to me the most is that there were generations of families. And so I can use my family as an example. They migrated. We were a part of that great migration of Black families from the South up to the North. And so my grandparents kind of built their foundation here. My mother was born here. We were born here. And so there was, part of me being raised in the CD was because my grandparents owned a home. Mm-hmm. And so we spent a lot of time on 25th and King, where my grandmother's house was. And then my uncle, my mom's brother was on 27th and Yesler. The family was everywhere. Mm-hmm. And there's just not that anymore. Once developers kind of started buying up land and property, people started moving out of this community, not really understanding at the time the implications that would have on what the CD really means to people that have been here for generations. And so there's that aspect of just the generations of folks just aren't here anymore. So when you think about community, when you think about parks, homes, schools, it just doesn't look the same. There's not kids everywhere. Mm-hmm. When I was growing up, there were kids everywhere, right? They were just everywhere.
In the street.
Yeah. I mean, there was always something for us to do, and everybody kind of knew each other, and there's just not that. And so that sense of community in that way, where the families were connected, and somebody knew somebody. I couldn't get away with anything because even if I tried, somebody saw me and then they told my mom, and it's just not like that anymore. And so I think that's the unfortunate thing about when neighborhoods change, we also lose that sense of community, and that's something that we're trying to rebuild with what we're doing at Art Noir.
Totally. And I know the partnership with LUP has been just a big part of that. I remember when Midtown, the concept of Midtown was coming up and, being very intentional about the artists that would be, placed on the buildings. And what is most impactful to me is knowing that every person that is a part of this building brings a sense of community. So you're bringing back your community and your perspective to this building. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the events that you've helped kind of put together, whether it's just, you know, with outside organizations or some of the retailers that are here? You've put on some really great events that I've gotten a chance to be a part of. So can you tell us a little bit about some of your maybe like famous, or not famous, but favorite events? Maybe they are famous. We're going to get you famous.
Let's get them famous. Yeah, you know, that's one of the things that I really, really appreciate about the relationship that we have with LUP is that they, you know, were very intentional about what their vision for this public square, and they invited us to be the ones to kind of manage the programming of that space. And I'm a programmer at heart, so it was like, okay, great, like I get to throw events and parties and whatever else. So yes, I can absolutely do that. So one example is the jazz concert that we do. So we're doing the second one actually this weekend. But we did one last year, and it was featuring Gary Hammond. Gary Hammond is a native of this community who has traveled the world, you know, as a jazz musician, has played with legends. He's a legend in his own right, but he's still right here in this community. Him and my uncle actually were really close, and so they came up together here in the CD, and so there's that connection there. And I love being able to bring somebody like him to the forefront in this space, just to remind people like, he's still here in this community. We literally have legends in our community who really made their start right here. And so we're doing his concert again. Last year when we did it, that square was full. I mean, people were hanging off their balconies and just coming down. You could hear the music from the streets. And so people were just pouring in. And since then, you know, every couple weeks or so, people are like, are you doing that again? Are you doing that again? Please do that again. So I'm like, yes, we're doing it again. So I'm so happy to like do that again with him and bring in some of the other musicians that have been living on the East Coast and welcoming them home. We do dance parties here with DJs. We do incredible like vendor markets where we can really spotlight vendors, not only that we work with at Arte Noir, but that are just in the community. We have great partnerships with the Eco District, which is run by Donna Moody, who is also a business owner, the owner of Marjorie Restaurant here. She's also on our board, so shout out to Marjorie.
Yes, shout out to Marjorie.
But we are able to partner with all of the businesses that are here at Midtown. We've done some things with the Resole and Jerk Shack. Neighbor Lady has been a great supporter, even the new salon and Hit Lab. I mean, everybody's just really been wonderful. And when I'm programming, I really try to keep that in mind, is try to do something that's for everybody, things that are for everybody. We do dance classes on a weekly basis and yoga. We've done double dutch. I mean, there's just, the list really goes on. And so I'm really excited that people are really starting to look forward to those events every summer. In particular, we do program throughout the year, but you know, Seattle. Yeah. So the summertime is the best time to get people outside, but you get residents engaged, you get the community engaged in these things. And it's just a great way to bring people together and people to get to know their neighbors and just the other people that are in their community. So it's really a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. This episode of Live from the Lounge is brought to you by Built, the loyalty program for renters, transforming rent payments into valuable rewards. Learn more at Built.com.
I think that's just so important to kind of bring people together and allow them to meet their neighbors. I think it's something that we've kind of just been lacking over the years. I always have been living in apartments, and I didn't know any of my neighbors. My apartments did not put on any events. They didn't do anything. So I think doing events like that are just so important to communities and just getting people together. But I'm curious for the people either outside of the community or who don't know about Arte Noir, how can they support your mission and how can we engage people in with Arte Noir more?
Well, again, like we started on online and we continue to do that. So we publish our editorial every month. Okay. Everything's on our website. So you can shop online. You can get to know about what we do. We do a lot of highlights of our partners, our vendors, and specific products that we're featuring in the shop. And so our website is really a hub for everything that we do. So, I mean, definitely like people can subscribe to our website just to stay connected. We do encourage people. We understand that everybody's spread out, not just with, Seattle, but throughout King County and Washington State. But when people get an opportunity to come, we love people to come engage with the programming that we have, come see an exhibit that we might be showcasing at our gallery. And then beyond that, really get to know the artists and vendors that we work with and support them.
Yes.
That's literally why we exist, is because we're uplifting all of these folks that we are working with. And so we really want to bring them to the forefront. And so when you come in our gallery and you see somebody's work on the walls, get to know those artists. If you see it and you're like, oh my God, I love their art, connect with them. We are just there to kind of introduce you to the greatness that is here in our community and beyond. So we really kind of want to be that conduit for people to be connecting to artists and creatives, makers, and people like that.
Yeah, just amplifying their voices.
I started a TikTok for Artful Apartments, which is just a little pilot that I had kind of started earlier last year, hoping to connect artists with apartments and bring in local artists into spaces and be able to really showcase them. And I've actually used your website a few times with Brand Tejic, our partner, to try to find those artists. I definitely believe that it's been really helpful. It's allowed me to connect with people who are from here, who are local, because that's the type of art that we're really trying to showcase. So thank you for that. I think that's so fun that we've been able to.
Well, and to your point, we do have our Black artist roster, which is a resource.
That's what I've used.
Yeah, it's a resource to really get connected to the artists that are in our community and offer them opportunities to be showcased in spaces like the ones that you're creating. So thank you for you. I'm glad that it's working, because that's what we want.
Hopefully we can partner together more in the future with that, because I think that would be a great partnership.
Yeah, we need more of the community vibe and, just kind of what people are and you are doing here at Midtown. I think it's really important. I do know that if I lived in any one of these interior courtyard apartments, I would be that crazy lady out with the jazz music, just going, and you'd be like, there she is.
I hope so. That's what I want. Yeah. Like, I want people to be able, like, if you don't want to come like all the way downstairs or whatever, like you can literally just hang off your thing and have your own party in your living room and look down. But we want it to be fun for everybody.
Yeah. Kind of created like a fun little community to where you feel like you never have to leave. Yeah. I think that's the best that you could honestly kind of create. I know that after first, I think I visited, a party. It was with a DJ and there was like food out here and it was sunny. And I actually came out here because I was going to take a class at Hit Lab. Oh yeah. They killed me. Okay. Admittedly have never been back. And it's not because they weren't wonderful people.
We love Kathy.
We love Kathy at Hit Lab, but girl.
Yeah.
So after that, I treated myself to some Marjorie actually. Yes. So that was fun. And then I hit the dance party after. Yes. So it was like, I felt like it kind of balanced out. So I think that's just kind of a testament to like, what this community does. It brings people together. It brings people in to the history of the neighborhood, which I think is sometimes lost. It's a lost story that I think, as you mentioned, as people kind of navigate to Seattle, navigate to this area of the Pacific Northwest, something that I wish Seattle did better is nurture the history and the impact of the people that kind of built these neighborhoods. So it's really great to hear your perspective as a Seattle native and in the CD for sure.
Yeah, and I think we're very intentional as we kind of present the programming that we do about inserting little nuggets about the history of this community. What's great is when we do kind of larger scale things, that mural that Takia Ward did, owner of the Resole, that mural is right there. So it's the backdrop, and that mural is it's storytelling in itself. And so it inspires inquiry for people who don't know. And so it always kind of delights me to be able to just answer those kind of questions for people. Who is this? What was this place? What does this mean? And so whenever people come into this space, whether they're coming for, activities that we're presenting or they're just looking at the art, we are able to kind of share those little bits of history about this community with people. And so that's what's so special is how everything like ties together. So from the beginning, before there was Art Noir, we kind of helped to influence in the art plan. And then we came into play, and now we're doing these programming activities. And so it's just, it all comes together in a really beautiful way.
And the artists that you showcase in the gallery, 100% of proceeds go to them. Is that correct?
So there's a few different ways that we work with people, because we have our gallery, we have our retail, and then we have other programming as well. So in the gallery, we do a very, galleries take commissions, and we do take a commission, but it's one of the lowest commissions you can imagine. So most galleries do 40-50%. We do a 30% commission, and within that, we are also programming around that exhibit, marketing the artist, providing opportunities for the artist and the community to connect. And so all those kind of things that we're putting forth for the very low commission. The commission is really just to keep the lights on.
Totally. And with these Seattle rents, honestly.
I mean, that's really just all it is. It's just kind of cover our operational costs as best as possible. And then on our retail side, everything that we sell in our retail shop is made by a Black maker, creative. And we either just purchase the items up front. Most of the vendors do extend a wholesale rate to us. Again, that's to help cover our costs. We pay fees every time we swipe a card or run a transaction. And so we just purchase those items up front. And then again, we do the work of marketing those products, uplifting those vendors and their brands. And then another way is we also help to create products. So we'll work with an artist. Let's say an artist has this amazing design or piece of art that they've created. And we're like, wow, that art is great. It would look great on a hoodie or a journal, or we can make puzzles out of it or whatever. We've done all of those things, right? So they've already created this beautiful piece of art. Maybe they sold the original piece. We then will cover the cost to make these hoodies or these books or whatever. And then we recoup the cost, and then they get 100% of those net proceeds. So what I like to say to artists is that essentially what happens is you are able to continue to make money off of this one thing that you did. So again, you may have sold that original for $2,000, but then we're going to continue to make money because we're selling the hoodies and we're selling the mugs and the notebooks and all those things. Totally. And so we're really intentional about making sure that we can generate revenue for these artists that we work with.
Awesome. No, that's so important. What do you think? So like when people enter into the space of Art Noir, what do you want them to feel or take away from the space? Like when you come in, like what do you want someone's first impression to be?
I love that question because in 2022, when we were getting the space ready to open our doors, there were a few things that I was like, this is important. Number one was plants. Yes. We have plants in there. And so when you come in, you see plants. You have this kind of, this other level of like life that we've brought into the space. And then I also was very adamant about having products that smell good. Yeah. Yes. So we sell a lot of candles, incense, even perfumes, body oils and things like that. So when you walk in, what I've heard for the past 3 years is, oh my God, it smells so good in here.
We're going to have to go in and check it out for ourselves.
That's usually what people say as soon as they walk in, they look around and they're like, oh my gosh, it smells good. And so, and then people comment on the plants. We're always playing music. And so sometimes that's even people walk in the door and they're like singing along. It's a vibe.
Yeah. It's a vibe.
And that's really what was important to us, is that it's a vibe. You're greeted by a friendly face. And so my team is amazing. We get such incredible feedback about them and how people feel like they were treated by our staff. That's very important. So I want it to be like an overall experience. It's sensory. So you're like looking around, everything's beautiful. It's colorful. It smells good. The music you hear is great. Somebody's like talking to you and making you feel welcome. Yeah. So it's all the things. And so it's been like that since day one, and it continues to be like that. And so that's really the feedback that we get. And that's the one thing where I'm like, okay, we're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Because we set this intention and it is actually coming to life, continues to come to life.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. One final question for you. Given the success of kind of the brick and mortar of Art Noir, working with your mom, kind of helping her vision come to life, and everything that Art Noir is, all the impact you've made here in this community, what do you look for in the future? What are you kind of hoping for in the growth of either Art Noir or your own passions or visions, or the neighborhood? What are you kind of looking for next?
Gosh, there's so many things.
Yeah.
So we were joking when we started about how I was like, I need to sit down. I need to just be still. I've been doing so many things for so many years. And this, honestly, is something that just kind of fell into my lap. And I'm so happy it did, because I feel like this is it. So for me personally, I'm just going to do this until I'm done and I'm like, I can retire and go be on a boat. As far as what the vision for Art Noir is, I mean, we actually just completed our strategic planning process. And so we've kind of set forth our 3 to 5 year vision. And we really just want to ensure that we are known as this community hub that we have intended to be. We want to be a space where we're cultivating, interest and support for Black artists and Black art. We want people to engage with the work that we do with artists, the programming that we do, so that we can continue to create and build community here. We want to continue to highlight the legacy of the Central District and the stories and the history of this community. Farther down the line, I think and this is way down the line, but our intention would be to figure out how we can replicate this model in other displaced communities. So there's a CD in every city, right? There's a Black community that's been displaced. And how do we take what we're doing here and inspire other communities to do the same? And part of that is, how do we inspire other developers to be in partnership with those communities, so that they're not just coming into the communities and participating in increasing the displacement, but they're actually supporting bringing people back into the communities, bringing people back in to live in the communities and also own businesses. And so I think that that's really important. And hopefully, within a 10-year span, that's something that we can do and replicate all across America and even beyond.
And then you can visit them on your boat.
Listen. Yep. You know that I'm just gonna go and check and make sure everybody's doing all right. That's my plan.
See you in 6 months, Mom.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna make sure everything's running smooth, and then I'm off to the next place.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we've got to make sure they're all coastal then.
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. I know it was last minute, but you made it work, and we're really, really, really grateful.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Big thanks again to our sponsor, Built, the loyalty program for renters. Head to Built.com to learn more.